Just recently, I watched Star Wars Attack of the Clones again. Why would I do that, might you ask? Well, it's been about 8 years since I had last seen it, and I wanted to discover for myself why it received such a negative response from viewers.
Oh, no. Oh!
So, with my memory refreshed and my thoughts in order, I can say for certain that the film was raw sewage.
What an incredible smell you've discovered!
Okay, I'm being too mean. I'll admit, the film had a few high points here and there. I think the film shines when Ewan McGregor is on screen doing his Jedi detective work. Obi-Wan's bizarre adventures fun to watch, but his segments are constantly interrupted with a nauseating Anakin plus Padme romance.
You are in my very soul, tormenting me.
Regardless of all that, there's a more specific issue in the film that really caught my attention and left me questioning the placement of a character in this film and in The Revenge of the Sith. His name is Mas Amedda, which you wouldn't know from watching the film because he's never named on screen. So, going forward, I will refer to him as Big Blue Hornyman. No, but seriously, jokes aside, his addition to Attack of the Clones, and subsequently The Revenge of the Sith, raises a really big question that bugged me throughout the rest of the film. In order to explain this, however, I'm going to have to take you back to the Phantom Menace. In this scene, Queen Amidala moves for a vote of no confidence against the currently sitting Chancellor Valorum. She does this at the behest of Senator Palpatine, who represents her planet of Naboo in the Galactic Senate. Now, Palpatine pushes Amidala to do this, as it's in his best interest to depose the current Chancellor, so that he may ascend the throne in Valorum's place. It's in Palpatine's persuasive whisper to the Queen that the issue occurs.
Enter the bureaucrats, the true rulers of the Republic, and on the payroll of the Trade Federation, I might add. This is where Chancellor Valorum's strength will disappear.
Palpatine specifically points out Mas Amedda to Queen Amidala and highlights him as an example of the crippling bureaucracy that has consumed the Senate. He even goes so far as to say that Amedda is on the Trade Federation's payroll. Those are some big accusations to throw around, mind you, since the Trade Federation is currently in the process of holding the planet of Naboo hostage. It is on Palpatine's insistence, then, that Queen Amidala makes the motion to remove Valorum from office. Mas Amedda was a crucial part of this interaction, and Amidala would know that too. Queen Amidala would understand that if she were to help elect a new chancellor, then he or she would bring new aides to the office, removing the corruption that people like Mas Amedda have ushered in. The dichotomy of corruption that Palpatine points out in this scene is the basis for Queen Amidala's decision to lose faith in Valorum, despite her saying previously that he has been Naboo's strongest supporter.
You could call for a vote of no confidence in Chancellor Valorum.
He's been our strongest supporter.
Our only other choice would be to submit a plea to the courts.
This is a pinnacle moment in the history of the Republic, and Amidala knows full well that she is playing a major part in it. It's not every day that a leader is removed from office like this, because if it was a common occurrence, the Republic would cease to be a republic. The point of any good governing system, like a republic, is to provide stability, and swapping leaders like you change socks is clearly a terrible way to do that. So, skipping ahead to the Attack of the Clones. Why, pray tell, hasn't Amidala questioned Chancellor Palpatine about his appointment of Mas Amedda as his aide? I've read theories online about why Mas Amedda maintained his position as Chancellor's aide, and they say that Mas Amedda was Palpatine's plant from the beginning. The idea goes that Mas Amedda was sent into Valorum's office to sow corruption and speed Palpatine's ascension to the office. That makes sense in the context of Palpatine's character, as he is a manipulative and powerful man. Of course, he would have a guy on the inside doing his bidding. However, none of this is mentioned in the film, and we would do well to focus on what is provable, rather than what we think we can infer. But the focus of the problem isn't only that Mas Amedda maintains this position, more importantly, it's that Padme Amidala is shown to be blissfully ignorant or completely uncaring of that fact. She shouldn't just be questioning Palpatine about this, she should be demanding an answer of him as to why he appointed Mas Amedda to this important office. The entire debacle I've brought up here would also logically lead Amidala to question the leadership capabilities of Palpatine and his ability to judge a person's character. She should be wondering how many other potential Trade Federation allies Palpatine unknowingly or knowingly employs. She should be wondering if he actually is better than Valorum, since her decision to move for a vote of no confidence hinged on the idea that Valorum was incapable of remaining free of Trade Federation influence. But here's Palpatine still employing Mas Amedda, who, by his own admission, is perhaps a Trade Federation stooge. It makes anti-sense why Amidala hasn't even raised an eyebrow at this situation. I can only surmise that George Lucas and Jonathan Hales made a mistake in their script when writing Attack of the Clones. They failed to follow up on an enormous character shift for Amidala that both changed how she viewed the congressional process and led to the election of our soon-to-be tyrannical Emperor Palpatine. We then, as the viewers, are simply left to accept that Padme Amidala was either stupid or unable to comprehend the issue that is at play here. I think that the biggest disservice you can do to both your audience and your characters is to write them so that they conveniently forget important plot points. It just doesn't speak well of the writing capabilities of Lucas or Hales. If I could go back in time and give them advice, I would implore them to redraft their script. Either remove Mas Amedda from the film, or simply write in a scene that explores and answers the questions Amidala should have been asking. And because I was feeling creative, I decided to craft a little visual for it. This is how a scene like that might play out.
Chancellor?
Yes, my dear?
I must ask you, why is it you have maintained Mas Amedda as your vice chair? Were you not unsure of his loyalties?
Senator Amidala, I have complete trust in those I have appointed, and I have found Vice Chair Amedda to be a stalwart supporter of democracy.
Chancellor, are you certain though?
I would not have done so if I had not tested his loyalty myself and found him to be acceptable. You would do well to trust my judgment more often, Senator. This scene, while still weak in execution, answers the question of Mas Amedda's loyalty and preserves the integrity of Padme Amidala. She could even still be shown to hold deep reservations about the subject, and it could be set up for her further disenfranchisement with the Republic as it stands. It would give her more nuance in that she, being a firm believer in democracy, is having second thoughts about how it's running. But, you know, this is all missed opportunities. Hindsight is 20/20, the whole 9 yards. We can never go back and fix this or any of the other issues in the prequels, so it's no use ruminating on them too much. But don't let me stop you. Thanks for watching this video. It's been a big leap from the regular sort of meme-y content that I post, and I wouldn't mind doing it more in the future either. So be on the lookout for the next video. I'm actually thinking about doing a review of the Twilight Princess manga. It might be something in the works, we'll see how the script turns out. So thank you once again, and I'll see you next time.